Good morning. This is Sandra at Plum Good Quilting. And this morning I'd like to show you how I combine my lightbox and my Silhouette Cameo. And after doing the video the other day on dividing a large flower project, large applique project I was working on, I happened to think that maybe you'd like to see the lightbox and a few of the supplies that I sometimes use. And I always say sometimes because every project draws in a new issue or a new problem that can be worked out. And I like using combinations of products to put things together if it makes it easier for me. If I were doing a quilt that called for an awful lot of work on applique, I really like to get all of my pieces ready and all of my fabric choices made before I ever start. And in a situation like what we have today with this particular flower, it was from one I did a long time ago. But at the time, I didn't have this beautiful fabric. This fabric in this block is Gathering Basket by Kim Deal that will be released this summer. Well, I was able to go to Henry Glass and download these fabrics into my library, like I've showed you in a past video, and play around with it. And I tell you, I put these 28 fabrics uh, in every possible combination, and I never came up with a bad one. It it just was awfully hard to choose which piece was going to go where. The only thing I ever work really towards in this is my contrast. I have a dark fabric on the background here, so I wanted to go a little lighter with anything above it. But then each layer takes the reverse. Um, Sometimes, if I want to take something and not have it be something that stands out, I might go to a mid-tone. But her fabrics are so beautiful; it really almost anything works with um, her tones and values that she uses. But let's get started with this project. I want you to see what I start with. Um, First, I'm going to go to my Silhouette Cameo, and I'm going to cut all of my pieces to this, and I'll show a cutting video at some point. There's so many wonderful videos out there. You can find Silhouette America has plenty showing you how to cut your fabric, or cut your fabric, or cut your paper. But on this one in particular, I did use a freezer paper, and I put freezer paper out. In this case, I was using a 12 by 12 uh, piece that I had cut from a roll from the grocery store. And I laid the freezer paper down, cut out all the individual pieces. Then I took those pieces, chose my fabric, obviously after I had auditioned them all on the Silhouette software. And once I made that choice, I placed the fabric on the freezer paper, turned the edge to the wax side. That's the way I like to do it because it speeds up the process, especially on a large applique like this one is. And once I got them all prepared, then I was ready to go and lay them down on the background fabric. Well, here's where this next product comes in. I'm going to move this picture of that really nice fabric over and start with my light box. I have several light boxes, but I've been in this business for quite a few years, and so I've accumulated many different products that have helped me get to where some, of course, some got old and had to get rid of them, those kinds of things. But this particular one is fairly new. I haven't had it that long. It's a light box that is very often used by tattoo artists. It has LED lights, which makes it extremely bright. But this particular one, you can dim the lights. You can have it super bright or much lower. With my old eyes, I use super bright quite a bit. Um, but I put my applique pieces uh, that I have already prepared on top of my background fabric. And I would use this light box, which is 18.86 inches by 14.21 inches. I would lay my paper that has the drawing of it, and in this case, this would be the drawing, okay? And I'm going to tell you, when you do a drawing, and I did this one on Silhouette, I use this very fine line pen. And I did it because I wanted you to see that it would be hard to see what you're working on if you use the fine line and put fabric over it. It's possible, but it's harder to see. So in this case, the pen that I used was this particular pen, and let's get rid of some of this. This pen is the alternate pen holder that you can use with Silhouette Cameo. And I had a rub-a-dub in this one. I used Sharpies and Copic markers. I've used a little bit of everything inside these to check them and see which ones I like the best. In this particular one this morning, I just grabbed this, put it in the holder, stuck it in the machine, and where the blade holder is. And once I had it ready to go, I traced, and this is what I ended up with. I ended up with this particular trace with that, and this is the paper, okay? Then I had the drawing. Then I laid the fabric on top, and this fabric is busy and dark. And with the light behind it, you can see that I can see all the way through it without any problem. This is where I took the next piece and put a piece of cardstock over the large flower background just to show you that it's easy to find exactly where to put it. I use then this particular product, and there's quite a few basting glues out there, but this particular one is one that I really do like. It dries fast, so I can put it, oops, we're not going to be able to get that over there, are we? I'm going to have to do this. Take all my stuff off the top because I didn't clear my board on my mat so you could see it. Okay, Quilter's Choice basting glue. I put it on the back of the applique piece that I'm using, and I do it around the edge, but not where I'm going to be stitching. I actually put it inside the outside line so that I don't glue the very edge and make a mess. But I do put it on the back so that when I lay it on top of my background fabric, um, I only have to press it down, and I have it ready to go, and it will be like this, laying on top of my background fabric then for me to stitch down, whether by hand or by machine. However, I will tell you I almost always will use a machine to do this, simply because it's a very large flower. It's meant to be for a wall quilt, or it could possibly be for one of the grandkids, whatever. And I just make sure that I'm going to do something like this in a fast manner. I save my hand stitching for the things that I like to work on, like Baltimore blocks or Sandra Leitner's nature views. They're all very small, and I like to work that way with my hands. But the machine does beautiful work with this. I hope that you will try some of these products, try this process, and see if you can't mix it up a little bit and see how fast you can get at it. I can put this together in a morning just by having my drawing, my light box, my fabrics picked out, and I glue that thing on top and take it to the machine and very quickly have it put together. So give this a try, and I hope you'll watch for Kim Beal's gathering basket fabric that she's got coming out, because it really is pretty. It does seem to be one of those that's going to look good 100 years from now. So good day, and keep